There was an ark that God's people carried for 40 years. It was made of gold, but that wasn't its most valuable feature. What made this ark so special was what was inside of it. It was where God's presence dwelt among his people. It was called the Ark of the Covenant. And in today's story from Numbers chapter 4, verse 15, we see that God gave very clear instructions about who could touch it and how they had to carry it. But before I read the instructions, let me explain why this is important. God's people weren't allowed to just touch anything in the tabernacle. There were specific rules about purity and cleanness because God was holy and his people were not. They knew that if they broke these rules, they would die. So when it came to the Ark of the Covenant, they knew that if anyone touched it, they would die. So when the time came to move the tabernacle, the Levites, specifically the sons of Kohath, whose responsibility it was to carry the ark, they were afraid. They didn't want to die, so they went to Eleazar, the priest, and said, We can't carry the ark. You got to let someone else do it. But Eleazar said, You can do it. God will protect you. Just follow these 3 instructions. Do you think God is looking to kill any of you? Of course not. He just wants you to follow his instructions. So here are your marching orders. And then we read in verse 15, And the sons of Kohath answered, We will do as you say. We will go as you have told us. However, we are under the obligation to report it to you, to the Lord, and to the whole assembly of Israel, that we have carried the Lord's ark, and we do not know what will happen in the way, what the Lord will do with us if we bear the ark. So if we shall die, we and all the Levites, priests, we are your responsibility, and we are acting under your orders. I may be rash, but you shall deal wisely with us. They were told clearly, Do not touch the holy things or you will die. The Ark of the Covenant wasn't just a sacred object. It was the throne of the living God among his people. And for them to touch it would be like you and I walking up to the throne room of God in heaven and sticking our hands out like, Hey God, can I touch your throne? I mean, if you don't mind, right? Like, no, we can't do that. God is holy and his presence is overwhelming. And so the sons of Kohath carried it as instructed, carefully, reverently, without laying a hand on it. Not out of fear, but out of awe, because God's holiness is not casual. It is consuming. And then we read in verse 20, And he said to them, This is the way you are to carry the ark of the Lord, the God of Israel, and you shall present it before the Lord. Thus those who do it shall be consecrated, and their hands shall be made holy. And you shall carry the ark of the Lord carefully, and you shall not do other work on the day of Israel's feast, lest you desecrate it. And these men, Korah and his 2 sons, and Zelophehad, and Ithamar, and Uzziel, the sons of Aaron, the priest, shall be appointed to it to carry the ark of the Lord. And they shall come to the office of their fathers to inherit the charge of it by a right of inheritance. They did it just as they were told. They were careful to honor God's presence. They took extra care to make sure that nothing would be done to disrespect it. They moved it with reverence and awe. And I think that's a great lesson for us today. We don't carry golden arks on our shoulders, but we do carry his presence in our hearts. And that same holiness calls for honor. It invites us to approach with reverence, not routine, with surrender, not shortcuts. In a world that rushes past sacred things, may we pause. May we remember the God we serve is holy. And his presence isn't something we manage, something we worship. Thank you for watching. If this message reminded you of God's holiness, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more moments of truth and reverence from Scripture. And remember, God isn't just near, he is holy. Let's live like we believe it. Until next time, walk gently and carry his presence with awe.